What's up, everyone? Today's video, I want to talk a little bit about something that I've used many times myself. For better or for worse, I'm not sure. Hopefully that's what we're gonna try to nail down in this video, but we're gonna talk about faking it till you make it. And this doesn't even necessarily just apply to musicians. You know, this can apply in the business, even like mental health. Telling yourself, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then, you know, does your mental health change? You know, these are all things that I've experienced on various spectrums. So I thought it was pretty important to make a video about this just so we could talk about it and kind of like figure out, is it good to fake it till you make it? Is it bad? Does it even work? And hopefully we're gonna figure this out today. And we'll come to a conclusion at the end of this video. When I'm starting this video, I honestly am not totally sure what the answer is to that, but what I'm gonna do to figure that out is I actually am gonna call a couple peers, some mentors, and some friends, just to get some outside perspective on this whole fake it till you make it thing. So let's move over to some of those calls.
You consider the phrase, fake it till you make it. Let's define fake. It could mean that you're getting the job done, but you're not exactly sure how you're getting it done, or you're just getting it done well enough that, man, if you really got thrown a curveball, you'd be in big trouble. I think that's the healthy kind of fake it. The unhealthy is you don't have the work ethic. You're not going to take the time to understand how to do it well. That cannot last. That will fail because it's going to catch up to you. You might fake it for a while, but at some point, something bad's going to happen and you're not going to be able to solve it in the moment. I have another phrase, fake it till you make it, and that is triage your education. So if I were to ask, say, a young employee, hey, we have this Midas console and I need you to run front of house next week. The Midas console, the manual on that runs to 800 pages. You wouldn't have time, nor should you, try to read the whole thing. What you need to be able to do is bring a microphone into a channel, gain it up, and send it out the two mix to the speakers. I mean, that's kind of the minimum. And I would think it would take 30 minutes, 45 minutes of reading the manual, tinkering with the box, and you're going to get it done. I'm triaging in the moment. It's a medical term. It means you have patients coming in and a triage nurse looks at them and goes, which is the most critical? I have to ignore the ones that aren't as critical. So triaging your education is going to be huge as you work. This is not a school thing. This is like you're in the industry and you're working. And what it means is you have this mindset that in the moment, you don't know how to do it, but you can invest very quickly to get enough skill set to get it done. And then I would hope you have enough curiosity to want to know more about it later. So you transition from faking it and you're actually making it. You're not faking it to make it, you are making it to make it. And that's your end goal. Nobody's going to start there. And a young person who works in the industry today, not like it's just audio lines anymore. There's just so many layered technologies happening, and there's an expectation that you know how to operate, most of them reasonably fluently. Most college graduates or folks going into the entertainment industry at the level position, they don't have enough chops or time to do it. So don't say, no, I don't know how to do that. Say, I can figure that out. If you say, I'm going to figure it out, if you already knew, you wouldn't have to figure it out. So you are telling the truth. I don't know. But you said it in a way that, don't worry, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to take care of it. And if your employer knows that you have that initiative, you have the skill set to triage your education and count on you to get it done, then you have made it. Not in just that moment, but your career trajectory is set.
There's a lot of people who are like, well, you shouldn't really fake it till you make it, right? You should just be in it all the time. I'm kind of in between both camps because I think sometimes, your energy's low. It's very difficult to be the same level of intensity every single day, right? It depends on how you define your real self versus the others. I guess my biggest antidote for not being able to fake it till you make it, I guess, is just staying in the moment. If I think about all the things I gotta do in a particular day or week, that's when my energy gets real drained and I'm unable to quote unquote fake it till you make it. But if I stay in the moment, not letting my thoughts get too far ahead of me, then I usually do a better job of keeping my energy like more organic rather than faked, if you will. you can take it two ways, right? Like you're not in the groove. How do you get in the groove? That's like my methodology for staying in the groove is to stay present, not let myself get too overwhelmed by the things that might be happening 8 hours later or 12 hours later, which is super hard to do. It's like a gig, you know, if we're doing a gig that we don't, you know, we're like, oh, this is dragging on forever. It's usually dragging on forever because I'm not in the moment. It's usually dragging on forever because I'm not thinking about what I'm singing right then and there. And it doesn't matter if I've sung the song 10,000 times. I think that's the path of being a human being, especially a human being like us who performs all the time. Even in my job at UB, I'm performing. Then the other end of it is like, I know a lot of people are like imposter syndrome, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna act like I know what I'm doing until I actually know what I'm doing. I think that's all of us. I think that's all of us. Even people who are considered experts in their field still don't know everything about their field. So I think there's varying degrees of fake it till you make it, imposter syndrome, you know, I really don't know what I'm doing here. So the best answer is just to dive in, trial by fire, every day, all day. And the more you fade away from the more you give into the fear that I don't know what I'm doing, then the more it's going to manifest in your life, rather than just taking the bull by the horns and going at it, you know? So that's a little less, you know, Alan Wattsy, but there you go. Those are my thoughts on those particular two aspects. Those are the two constructs I think of when someone says fake it till you make it. I think about it like an energy level, and I also think about it from like the imposter syndrome level. So when it comes to like, you know, faking it till you make it, I really feel like you come into some roadblocks along the way. A lot of people nowadays really want an authentic, real person. And I feel like if you're just faking it all the way until you quote unquote make it, I really think you're not giving people that reality. There's a lot of people that like do fake it and they make it and then they're miserable because they have to be a specific person on camera or on the stage instead of being able to be themselves. You know, like now you're stuck in this persona that you have to be, like you have to be on. And when you have to be on, it's a difference of like me being on as a person. Like I'm just on where I'm super energetic and I'm super like outgoing, but that's also me. But with a lot of these people, they have to be on in a way that's not them at all. And they have to do that to get to where they're at. And so then they're just stuck, they're miserable. And that's just not a life that, you know, I think anybody really wants to live. But yet, there are people that, like the comment says, like fake it till they make it, they do that, and then they're living life miserable. Maybe not all of them, but I think some of them. What's crazy is that mentality was an older mentality, in the sense of like, you know, like people believed you have to create this persona. You have to be this person that people can look up to. And in reality, like even with, you know, developing the social media and making content, the most genuine thing you can do is just be you. And sure, there's a sense of being on. I'm sure for like Gary Vee is not on all the time. I'm sure he's very chill. He's not like always yelling at people's faces all the time. You know, like that energetic dude that you're seeing, you know, but that's still an extension of him. That's still him, that he's proud to express to other people. I think instead of giving ourselves layers as people, we give ourselves masks. A lot of people in the music industry, that's a thing. Faking it till you make it, that's a thing. We just completely try to hide who that actual person is instead of actually like layering ourselves with these different characteristics and qualities. And then when we do make it, then you're like stuck with this like thing that's not you, instead of adding layers and giving depth into the person that people are then seeing when you actually do make it.
Okay, so we got a bunch of good calls. Thanks to everyone who actually was able to take my phone call and kind of give their opinions on this. I'll shout them out at the end of the video and in the description. Super great people. So now you might be wondering, okay, so that's what they think about that, but Jonah, what do you think about this? For like the 3 people who want to know what my opinion is. You guys are great. Let me tell you a little bit about how I've gotten to where I am now, which albeit isn't very far. I've gotten to where I am now from nothing, just from faking it till you make it. I can take this all the way back to when I first did gigs. You know, I was about 12 or 13. My first like actual gigs that I played, other than in church sometimes, were actually as a drummer in a worship band, like kind of like a Christian CCM sort of a band. And that was completely fake it till you make it. I didn't even have a drum set. My cousin, who I gig with now, Zach Carr, who actually you heard a phone call from earlier, came to me a long time ago when I was like 12 or 13, and he was like, hey man, we need a drummer. Do you want to be a drummer? I'm like, Sure, I can learn. I can learn how to be a drummer. I have very little idea how to drum. Like I messed with some drums at church, but otherwise I didn't even own a drum set. And then I started playing gigs with these guys. And eventually, actually pretty early on in the band, we played my first like actual big stage show, which was at Kingdom Bound at Darien Lake, which is like used to be a Six Flags. I think there was close to 1,000 people there. It was like my first actual stage with like rigging and lights and all that crazy stuff. And I was shitting myself. I am kidding you not. Like I was so terrified. I broke 3 sets of sticks because I was so nervous. I was smacking those drums. I had a sub right under me and I had 2 giant monitors that were loud as hell. Like I was freaked out. I'll show you some pictures if I can find them up here. But you know what? I actually felt really good about that performance. In fact, I still keep one of the drumsticks from that performance because it was just such a monumental moment. But I wouldn't have gotten there if I hadn't faked my way through those first couple shows and just said yes while I figured it out. Hold on to that thought later. We're gonna get back to that. Fast forward to high school when I'm auditioning for college. I'm doing these auditions at like Liberty University and Belmont, and then eventually the school that I actually ended up going to, which was Cornerstone University in Grand Rapids. But I was going for guitar performance because I knew that I loved guitar. Now the thing is though, I had spent a lot of time, like I had done lessons and stuff like that, so this wasn't as much faking it as it was when I was being a drummer. However, I had very little formal experience with things like sight reading. So I remember literally being in the back of my mom's minivan, going from Liberty University in Virginia to Belmont, Nashville, literally with a book in the back with my little homemade Les Paul in the back of her minivan, learning how to sight read on the way to audition at Belmont. Talk about faking it till you make it. Like I can't believe I even got accepted into Belmont. I didn't go, but I can't believe I got accepted. It was wild. That's another really good example of faking it till you make it. And then I got into a good music college in Grand Rapids with a decent scholarship. I was an okay guitarist, but I didn't have much formal experience. But I faked my way into it. And then, you know, thankfully college, that was less faking it. That was really like learning again. Keep in mind that thought, keep that thought. And there's been a lot of like little things, like I've played random gigs and done all kinds of things where like I was like confident-ish in them, but there was some stuff I had to learn along the way, figured it out as I went along. But the most recent example of faking it till you make it has been actually with this whole video thing. So I've not only been doing all these YouTube videos and whatnot, but I've actually been getting hired to do music videos for other people. And you know what? I previously have had no experience making videos. Like I used to make like fun videos with my GoPro, which I'm sure you've seen back, you know, at like the very beginning of my channel. And I did music videos in 2019 with my buddy Wild Ty. Other than that though, I have had no experience formally editing videos, making YouTube videos, and you know, producing videos for people. But once I started making those videos, people were like, hey, I love your videos. Can you make me some videos? Sure, I could figure it out. And so I've been saying yes to a lot of things, even though I don't necessarily have the experience to back it up yet. The thing is, I've been spending a stupid amount of time on YouTube, watching tutorials, learning things, Googling things. Honestly, that's why I'm making all these videos, is so I can just keep learning how to do this better and better and better. You know, like I obviously would like to grow my channel and that's why I'm working on this, but I'm also learning. And again, I pointed out in each of these examples, the fact that I learned. And I think that's the key. That's my personal thoughts on faking it till you make it. Faking it till you make it is kind of how you grow. That's kind of how you climb up the ladder. Because if you think about it, you're never going to have the experience to do the thing that you want to grow to do until you just do it. But the first time that you do that thing that you don't have the experience with, you're by definition going into it unexperienced. So you kind of have to feel your way through it. But it only ends up being successful in the long run if you learn. So like when I was the drummer in the band, I practiced a buttload. I was drumming all the time. I had poor parents, I swear. It was crazy. But I practiced a lot and I kept learning the songs. I learned drum stuff. Same with my college auditions. I didn't just sit in the van like, well, I'll figure it out in the moment. No, I spent like my whole time in the car, my whole time in the hotel, except for the hot tub because I just love a good hotel hot tub. You know, that's how you catch germs and stuff like that. It's a good time. All my time otherwise was spent practicing, learning how to sight read and practicing my songs for those auditions because they were so important. And same with these videos. Pretty much all the time I'm not spending making these videos themselves or that I'm teaching or making music, gigging, you know, all those other random things I do. I'm learning. I spent every second yesterday that I wasn't teaching guitar on YouTube. learning how to do these things, setting up my rig, and just learning more and more and more about this. So I really think that's the key. Faking it till you make it is just how you climb the ladder. And it's really good because it's gonna keep you from being stagnant. But you have to be honest with yourself and you have to keep learning, because that's the only way you're gonna do it successfully. Because if you fake it, you don't put in the work to learn what you're doing, you're not gonna make it. So fake it till you make it is a true statement, but there has to be learning injected in there. Just faking it is not gonna let you make it. Fake it and learn it until you make it. It's actually really funny. So my buddy Nate, who I talked to on the phone a little bit while ago, he actually sent me this perfectly timed podcast that was posted yesterday, actually. It was the Virtual Couch podcast by Tony Overblay. You know, go check out his podcast if you have the chance. But perfectly timed, he posted an entire podcast about faking it till you make it. So of course, you know, to prepare for this video, I listened to it. And he talked about this thing called the expectancy effect. And he gave this example of a study. I don't know if it was actually done or not, but I'm just gonna retell it. I'm gonna rip him off. Sorry, Tony. These researchers brought in a bunch of people that hadn't had any experience with rats before. They broke the rats and the people up into two groups, and they told the people that they had 1 week to train the rats to go through a maze. One group of people were told that they had maze bright rats. The other group was told that they had maze dull rats. And then they trained them. Then when they did the maze, the people who were told that they had maze bright rats, their rats did twice as good as the people who were told they had maze dull rats. But here's the thing, the rats and the people were all in the same pool. There were no maze dull or maze bright rats. They were all the same rats. But the people expected the rats to do a certain amount of performance. And the craziest thing is that the rats actually did that. And that works in business. If you show that you have confidence, then you usually can climb up the ladder and do a better job. Or people at least perceive that you have the ability to do a better job. I even see it with students all the time. I have students that come in, they're really sheepish and they're nervous because they really feel intimidated. And I do my best not to be intimidating. Did you practice? I do what I can, you know, but they come in, and the ones that are really intimidated and shy and sheepish, they play really sheepish and they always make some mistakes that as soon as I play it with them or they do it a couple times and so they gain their confidence, they play it perfectly. But the only reason that they didn't play it right the first time was because they were so nervous and insecure about it. And then sometimes even if they do play it right, they might play it perfect. They're like, yeah, I don't know. They just feel insecure about it. Versus the ones that have confidence and they have that self-talk that says, hey, I know how to do this well. They play it well almost all the time. And if they make a mistake, it's fine. We go back, fix it, not the end of the world. So the expectancy effect, I've seen it work internally as well. You know, like in the study, they talk about external, like people expecting things on you and have that manifest, which has happened with me. I've had people expect certain things of me or certain ways that I am, and I've kind of become that. The expectancy effect definitely works internally. So if you expect yourself to be good or bad at something, there's a high probability you are going to be good or bad at that thing. So it's a combination of constantly learning while you fake it, but also having some positive self-talk so that you can set yourself up to be on the right foot. This even happened with my anxiety. I know I've talked to a lot of you on social media about my anxiety that I experienced. And there was a point where I was expecting that as soon as I left the house, I was gonna have a panic attack. I was gonna have to pull over any number of things. And you know what? It would happen. It would manifest because I would expect it. And eventually I realized as hard as it was, I had to stop expecting those bad things to happen. And so while it didn't happen immediately at first, I just started training my brain to be like, okay, I'm gonna leave the house, and if I have a panic attack, I do, but I might not. And of course, at first, it would happen because I was still working my way off that ledge. But gradually, the more and more I told myself that, even if I didn't believe it, the panic attacks stopped happening less. And then there was a day where randomly I was able to drive somewhere and I didn't have a panic attack. Then it set off in the other direction, where now I can drive at least like relatively close, and I don't expect there to be a panic attack. So panic attacks don't happen. And I honestly believe that if I was brave enough, which I'm still working my way up to this, I could drive across the country and back, not have a panic attack, as long as I didn't expect myself to have a panic attack. I am that confident in the expectancy effect internally. So to sum up my personal thoughts, I think that fake it till you make it only works if you learn while you fake it, but it does work. It is a good way to climb up that ladder, but you also need to learn to have positive expectations for yourself. So it's positive self-talk to help set you up for these things. If you fake it till you make it, but you don't truly tell yourself or believe that you can do it, then you're probably not gonna be able to do it. So let me know down in the comments what you think about the whole fake it till you make it thing. Let me know what you think about my views or anyone else that I talked on the phone with today. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to this channel where we post content like this on a regular basis. And if you want to help support me and keep this going, please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. Patreon is a super great platform where I can post exclusive content like videos, music, and exclusive merch that only my subscribers can get. My tiers start at $2 a month and you can cancel anytime you have to. Either way, my name is Jonah Krull. Thank you so much again. I'll see you next time.